What did Jesus mean when he said that when we are resurrected, we will be like the angels? In what way will we be like the angels? This is from Nick and Christina, and that's an email they sent in. I think sometimes, certainly when we were kids growing up, we used to kind of think in general like, oh, when you died, you kind of became like an angel. You went up to, the horn blows at midnight, the famous film by Jack Benny that used to play on New Year's Eve all the time, for those who might recall, with the angels, etc., and the fallen angels. But we understand it differently as we get older, right? What about angels? How is it like angels? What did he mean?
Yeah, I mean, there is certainly in intertestamental Judaism, there is a prolific belief in angels, but essentially angels are spiritual beings. And Jesus definitely believes in his ministry that the people of the resurrection are not just going to be resuscitated corpses. When we talk about N.T. Wright later on in the program, there's an important distinction because what Second Temple Judaism thought, and Second Temple Judaism is a set of doctrines that developed during the time of the Second Temple. So when Israel comes back from its exile and Darius allows the Jews to rebuild the Second Temple in about 550 BC, all the way to the time of the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD, right? In that period, a set of Jewish doctrines developed, which the Christian church allied itself to, but not in the resurrection. We'll talk about that. There's a very special case. But in this particular case, the Jewish people actually believed that it would be more like a corporeal resurrection. I'd be coming back in my flesh, but my flesh would basically last, for a long, long time, etc. And of course, there wasn't going to be a real transformation. Jesus insists that there is going to be an angelic, that is to say, a spiritualized transformation of the body that's no longer going to be subject to physical laws. Now, I'm putting it in 21st century terminology, right? In other words, the idea of physical laws is not, properly, framed up in the first century. So the main thing is what Jesus though does mean is, we're not going to be subject to this to physical laws. We're not going to be subject to gravity. We're not going to be subject to locked doors. We're not going to be subject to corruption. We're not going to be subject, to pain, right? And of course, pain is a huge part of the physical body. Well, all of these things will be completely transcendent, which were features of the angels. And so for Jesus, then, the resurrection is much more than just, as it were, kind of a resuscitation of the physical body, right? It's going to be a transformation of the physical body where we still have our corporeal features, but it will be in some kind of angelicized form, if I can put it that way, that it'll be spiritualized form. And this is exactly what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15 when he says, we will be just like him, a pneumatikon soma, a spiritual body, a glorified body, a body risen in power and spirit and glory, and so in a sense then like the angels.